right? What you'll see is a mountainous peak. My belief has been for the longest time, every place, every moment brings us an aha moment. Why? Because the peak, as you will see, shows us the bright, shiny, that may reflect and show us as though it to be our goal. And obviously, what you will see also in that picture is the darker side of that other mountain in front of the peak. But that represents probably not so much as an obstacle, but a hurdle that we may have to go around that mountain to be able to reach our peak. And that's what our aha moment should be about. Anywhere you start your day, start your moment, look around you, you will be so amazed and surprised as to where you will find and uncover your passion because of the tiniest, smallest little action or activity that you will notice that others are doing in front of you. Unknowingly, they're not even doing it to share that with you. That's the peak I had in mind as to whatever I talked about. Every place brings an aha moment. And if I'm not going to ask you to guess, but this was at 4 o'clock in the morning at the foothills of this mountain peak that I got up to recognize what an aha moment in the foothills of the Himalayas. Now, why I start with this is because, as you know, you took your first step some time ago, okay, maybe a long time ago. And sometimes you are yet to even take your first step. But if that be the case, recognize that your journey and therefore your life will bring you all kinds of turns and detours, irrespective of how determined you are. The challenge and the message absolutely has to be keep your focus so steady that no obstacle will ever take your eye off the peak or the ball, as they say. As you will have already noticed, or you may notice sometime very soon, that every journey will invite us to cross and conquer multiple peaks during our lifespan. If you recall and recollect the time from your childhood, when you were a child or a student, your biggest hurdle or the peak was the exam, the grades. Obviously, life evolves through those. And from exam, it went to the entrance into the engineering school or the best business school or what have you, universities, jobs. Oh, will I be successful or not? See how life and journey evolves to give us different peaks at all time, at every turn. Jobs and success, universities and success go hand in glove, absolutely. But you must recognize that along with jobs and success come the next hurdle, promotion, positions, and therefore then in parallel comes our domestic hurdles, or you can call it opportunities. It matters very little what you call it. Everything is semantics because you got married to the right person. Chances are you're absolutely living the happiest life, the most passionate life. But Here is a question. Are you happy because you are successful? Or are you successful because you are happy? Now, if you begin to ask that question of yourself and answer it absolutely diligently, openly, candidly, you have the option of doing that right now on your screen. I'm not looking at that right now. I'm not going to look at it because I don't want to know who is answering it, which way, which direction. The purpose of my bringing it to you is multiple peaks. Now, once you got married, you're happy, you're absolutely successful, you will begin to ask that one other peak and a successful question. That is, what contributions am I making not only to my happiness, but to the happiness and success of others? At some point of time when you took the journey, when you began your journey, this is exactly what you faced. Those of you that are engineers, those of you that are in business, those of you that are entrepreneurs, if you paid attention to the noise around you, people, relatives, friends, your closest confidant were saying it's impossible. Adding and injecting to your inner voice, including your pride, saying, oh, it's impossible. Because you had opened some other chapters and you have had some experiences, chances are your experience will say, God, it's risky. Reason, absolutely. Last time I checked, we are all adults and therefore reasonable and logical people. But given that, your reason will have said, there's no point doing that. I'm not going to go that direction. And yet, emotionally, passionately, if you listen to your heart, it said, go ahead, give it a try. And see, that's what I did as a child. And if I ask you to recall and reflect on when was the last time you listened to your heart, God knows you will be so amazed as to the kind of memories, unforgettable ones, that'll come to your mind. Let me share real quick as to when I took my first step in this direction. Yes, I've been called a party animal in the college days. I would come home at 2, 3, 4 in the morning, sit up looking at the sky and the stars. And frequently I would see an international flight go by up in the horizon. Each time I saw a flight like that, I would say, one of these days, very soon, I am going to be on this one because globe is too small. Here you go. When you think about when you're started to take the first step, put yourself in the shoes of this young kid who's standing in front of the absolute tremendous soccer players. I won't call it football because American football is a bit different than the global soccer or football or what have you. But look at the celebrities that this guy is facing. This kid that you are seeing, he's looking at Jim Beckham, Ronaldo, Messi, all of these. And I don't have to name all of them because you know them. I'm not going to insult you by naming all of them. But picture this, what this child or this aspiring athlete is thinking about. First of all, he's saying to himself, I want to be like them one day soon. But at the same time, he's saying, what will it take for me to be there and be those people? Here are the answers: focus, determination, integrity, empowerment, ambition, and absolute necessity, mentors along the way. Can you imagine you having one of these players, athletes, as mentors all your life if you wanted to be the best soccer player ever? Mind you, Pele is missing in this, but so what? We can still find Pele. I hope this makes sense, because at some point of time when you listen to your heart, you will have no regret having listened to it. And this is exactly what this kid is going through right now. But at the same time, he's also intimidated. A little bit of fear is always good. I'm sure you have heard of a book title by the Intel founder, Only the Paranoid Survive. No, I'm not asking you to be paranoid, but at the same time, have that ongoing, relentless hunger and thirst to be successful and thrive each moment. Journey starts with a small step. Yes, some of us are saying, but wait a minute. I am in Phoenix. I can't do anything. Phoenix is a very small market. Some of you are probably saying, hey, but I am in San Francisco. I can do so much. My point of showing this is, don't let your location limit you or limit the scope of opportunities that you can pursue. Begin to think globally. Open yourself up to the level of opportunities and level of passion that exists in each one of us and each person that you will ever meet and interact with. Let's not limit ourselves to whatever scope or position we are in. Even if you are the happiest person, it doesn't matter, because keep climbing. Your personal peak is right around the corner. That's what I mean by globe is too small. And last time I checked, life is too short. Mind you, even if I am to be 100 years old, each morning I wake up saying, there is so much more that I can do. And therefore, I have coined the phrase, I work 25-10. Yes, some of you have probably heard it before from me. Some of you have not. All it means is I love my work and the contribution to others so much that I work 25 hours a day, 10 days a week. And that's what you are doing right now. My kudos to you, compliments to you, and humble salute to you as well. Because on a weekend, either Saturday morning or evening, instead of partying with your friends, enjoying your favorite drinks or what have you, you are spending time enhancing and elevating your passion to a next level, taking the next step on the ladder to be able to be at the top of the peak. This is exactly what I mean. If on one hand I'm saying globe is a very small place, look at the kind of impact each one of us can make, irrespective of how small or large contribution would it be. Given that, whatever you do, whatever decisions you make, that do you believe that impacts and affects the community that you live in? If the answer is yes, begin to ask the follow-up question. As a community, whatever role you play in San Francisco, in Bombay, in Delhi, oh, sorry, I meant to call it Mumbai, but oh well, in Bombay, Delhi, or Singapore, wherever you are, it matters very little. If you are contributing to that community, imagine what it does on a global scope. And by contrast, that very coin has the second, or the other side of that very coin is whatever happens globally, it somehow comes and impacts your community and therefore eventually you. So therefore, my point being, what are you doing today that will have a community impact or a global influence? You can start listing at least 3 activities and decisions that you are making. Here you go. What are we doing today? Let's not wait till tomorrow, because I have seen both the positive and the otherwise of the tomorrow. And for that, obviously, I'll end up inviting you to watch my TED Talk. It's titled, Is Medicine the Only Cure? I don't want to give away the punchline from that, but it is about don't wait for tomorrow. Make the most of every moment, every hour, every day. When was the last time you asked yourself, how many minutes are in a day? No, you don't have to calculate that, engineers. I'll give you the answer. It is 1440 minutes, 1,440 minutes in a 24-hour. I obviously have a little bit more because my days are 25 hours. But that's aside the point. My point is, can you imagine what you can do in 1,440 minutes? Okay, if you want the simplest example, can you not answer a question? What can you do with $1,440 right now? If you're at a bar, how many drinks can you serve and buy for those that are around you? If you're at a breakfast place, offer it to the entire restaurant. No, it's an example. I'm not asking you to take that decision, but you see what I mean? Whatever small little action or decision that you take has a global impact. If you don't believe me, look around you. A guy who started a small little company in his garage has had a global impact with Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Is he doing it to make money? Absolutely not. Has he made enough money? The answer is absolutely yes. So did yet another guy named Steve Jobs. A small little apartment in Cupertino, California. I can give you numerous examples. These are the 2 that we know about. But even if you didn't possess all these materialistic assets, one of the greatest leaders that I can think about right now, and you will be able to as well, if I were to ask you to list one of the top 10 leaders or top 10 leaders as a list, not just you, millions of people around the world, if you were to have them list top 10 leaders of the world, I am willing to bet that Gandhi's name will come up, whether on the first top of the list or the 10th, but he will definitely make it. Did he make the kind of money that other leaders seems to have made? Probably not. And yet, he was the wealthiest man that walked the face of this earth. because he pursued his passion relentlessly. In order to have the global perspective, we ought to have a vision. And this is exactly what I mean. I have always attempted, mind you, may not have been successful every single time, but I have attempted to make the most of every moment. Here is a picture I took at about 30,000 feet. The sun had already set, and I was able to capture this picture from my flight. No, I was not on top of Mount Everest. That's coming later. But that's what I mean by have the vision that is so grandiose, that is so high up, that nothing will ever affect for you to change that vision, only because that vision will drive your mission. And vision without mission or action is just merely a daydream. I can sit here and begin to think I want to affect and impact 6 billion people around the world. But if I don't put mission or a plan together and take action, I'm just going to be daydreaming about it. And action without vision is a nightmare. I can have the cricket bat in my hand, baseball bat in my hand, but if I don't have other players or the ball, what good is that action? You gotta have the vision in order to fulfill your mission. And then bring it down from 30,000 feet to the next level down. Does anyone recognize this place? You don't have to answer it. Should you feel that you want to answer it, go ahead and write it. But I will, of course, not invite you to write. I just want to give you, this is the same flight that I was on, about to land in one of my favorite cities, Paris. As you see more towards the top center of the picture frame, it's Eiffel Tower. And more towards the bottom of the page or picture frame, you will notice that that's where Arc de Triomphe is sitting, right there. As you see, every artery connects into Arc de Triomphe from Champs-Élysées and all that as well. When I showed you that picture, that is exactly what I meant. The vision was at about 30 to 35,000 feet. As we came down more towards approaching the action and decision or mission, the picture became a bit more clear. We were able to identify the targets like Eiffel Tower, like Arc de Triomphe, and Champs-Élysées and all that. But given that, mission also is still a blur phenomenon if we don't have the goals in mind. And look at, goals become clear only when you are in front of them. So you see how the sequence goes: vision, mission, goals, and once you are in front of the goals, begin to set your milestones and measure, because no goal is accomplished to the fullest unless you inspect what you expect. Now, all of us have so many assets, capabilities, and skill sets. Even if you have to take them as your carry-on, please carry that with you by hook or crook. This guy, Shanghai Airport, if you notice, this is just merely a measuring tool for the airline to see if your carry-on bag will fit in the overhead compartment or not. I found it funny that he did not want to check the bags in. So therefore, he wanted to bring them on. But God knows it was heavy. And so that's why from the curbside, he brought this to the ticket counter. My point being, even if you have to walk the length of Heathrow or Paris, Charles de Gaulle, or any airport that you have heard, that's the long walk. Carry on your capabilities and your assets and your skill sets, because you never know what skill sets and what attributes will come in handy to help anyone that'll come in your arena or your environment. Mission and goals work as our GPS. Now, for those of us that didn't grow up with the GPS in our hands, we had what was called the atlas, or the navigation system, or the radar. Whatever it was, begin to have that openness about you, regardless of the location, irrespective of the culture you are in. You will begin to learn and immerse yourself in the culture, because that's when the passion and the most powerful stories get transferred. Here is one. I was in China recently. Little did I know for the last 15 days that I was there what I was eating, because every place I went to, everything was in Chinese. To my absolute, utter delight, when I saw this sign, the first initial thought was, yes, today I will know what I'm eating, because the menu said English menu. But to my dismay, the only thing in English was the price. So yes, I knew what I was going to pay, but to your surprise and mine, I honestly didn't know what I was about to have other than the green on my plate. My point being, begin to think how quickly you can be multilingual. I can share jokes about it that I have shared with lots of my American friends, but I'm not going to. One of these days soon, I will. But begin to learn as many languages as you can, and you will see how warmly accepted you are and immersed you are in any society, any culture you go to. As I said, powerful stories. Can you imagine? I just told you that every one of us has a powerful story, and we were about to make the powerful story that you made. I told you about, I didn't know what I was eating other than the green on my plate. Can you imagine a fortune cookie coming out and saying, Ben, that was not chicken that you just had? My point being, get ready for those kinds of surprises as well. But more importantly, yes, those surprises may sometimes shock you, but if you are in an area and a place and a location, imagine what wealth of information you will pick up to be able to help those that come in your environment in the future. My point being, pick up every aspect of any culture that you visit, that you become a part of, and begin to formulate your story every moment, every day. Because last time I checked, every story has multiple chapters. I don't think any one of us is at the conclusion of our book. I can hear the answer from everyone on this call, but this is a universal question. My friends, I kid you not, every single time Every single place I have asked these questions, not once have I heard somebody say, yes, I turned down an invitation to help someone. Why? Because we want to help as many people as we can. So when you don't seek help, imagine what you are doing to others. Literal sense, we are being unfair to them when we don't ask for help, because they are eager to help. They're ready. They are so hungry to help. But when we don't ask for that help, it becomes that we're being unfair to them. Here it comes. And seeking help, giving help comes with absolutely a smile. The only global language that is so unanimously one, singular, is the smile. Not one place have I gone to where I smiled and somebody said, why are you doing that to me? Right? So smile, as you know, is contagious. Laughter is even more. Guess what? We've heard this before. Attitude is contagious, positive or otherwise. But newsflash, and that is when we say that positive attitude takes a lot of energy, I've got news for you. Negative one takes the same amount of energy. If you know this as the foundation or the background, what approach would you take towards your attitude? Here's my question. How many of you dread Monday morning and say to yourself as soon as you wake up, oh God, it's Monday morning? You're not alone if you're saying that. Quite the opposite of that very coin that I just gave you is I actually look forward to Monday morning, because my key question is, how many more people can I help and contribute to their happiness and success? Laughter is contagious? Absolutely. Can you imagine yourself sitting in the company of someone who is so sad, so down on life, all throughout the day, and possibly all throughout the week or a month, depending on your job and your role and so on? But look at the opposite. Cheerfulness, therefore, is almost always so energetically contagious. You can call me a virus. One of my friends does. And I thank him every single time I see him, because he said you are a virus for the positive contamination. Energy, and therefore passion, can be contagious as well. Can you imagine someone getting up in the morning and says, you know, I'll get to work today and I'm going to screw up? Nobody does. That's why approach your role, job, contribution with the passion that it deserves. And therefore, guess what? It's a spiral. Passion brings happiness. And that's the reason for the question earlier. Are you happy because you're successful? Or are you successful because you're happy? Happiness is contagious. Don't allow your environment to spiral it down. And conclusion of this formula or foundation is all these assets, as I said, are truly global. I just spent close to 9 weeks in Ireland. I have not seen more happy community than that, regardless of where I went, irrespective of rain or shine. They were all happy, gleefully cheerful and content. We can do that too, because leadership and passion is also contagious. How do we do this? Why do I have to worry about this? Last I checked, I think everyone wants to be successful, irrespective of how you define success. So I'm going to make it very easy. First steps. Begin to think, how do you stay ahead of the entire environment that you are in? Differentiate yourself. Yes, you've heard it from the marketing guys, marketing gurus, and so on. But begin to have the upward bound vision, irrespective of, even if you're taking a cross-functional lateral move or so. Have the clarity of your goals, because clarity of your thought gives you the courage to be confident, where you will be able to listen to your heart and begin to take the next step, whether it's the first one or more towards conquering that peak. Clarity, courage, empowering others. I've heard this statement, and I'm sure you have as well. When you get to the top floor, make sure you send the elevator down. Don't hold it up there, because there are others who you can empower, can be at their peak as well, and thereby succeed in life. Why do I sound and make this so easy? Yes, I understand. It's very easy for me to be sitting at the top of either Mount Everest, Kilimanjaro, Machu Picchu, or Mount Fuji and say, hey, come on up, it's very easy. I understand. I make it sound easier than it may be, but the only difficult step will be your first one. I kid you not. I live that every single moment. Here, as I said, life will throw lots of turns and detours. And here it comes. Choice is entirely yours. Which road are you going to take? The one that's to the right that shows clear path all through your journey, or the one that's a bit more hidden, the one heading to the left, because you never know what to expect at the next turn. And this is exactly what I meant when I said, get a mentor, coach. Don't look at this sign. And even if you look at this sign, ignore it. Not your health is not 174 kilometers ahead. It's right around the corner by picking up either a phone call, or in the days of technology, email, text, chat, or even a Skype call. Here it comes. I want to put you on the launch pad with a turbo boost so that you can take off in the absolute focused direction that you want to take. And that's the reason I bring you this awareness. Your reflection of how you look at every element around you in the environment is the reality. As I said, Monday morning, if you get up saying, oh God, it's Monday, versus Monday morning, if you say, yes, it's Monday morning, look at the difference. You just put tremendous amount of adrenaline into your body, mind, and thought. And your physical body reacts and responds to that willingly, with even added and additional energy and so on. Imagine this. You took a flight from San Francisco to Hong Kong, or from Bombay to New York. There are 230 people on that flight. Of the 230, I bet you 215 people are saying, God, that was a long flight. Oh, I have jet lag. Oh my God, I'm so tired. I don't know what to do. I am so tired. Oh, my body is not working. But on that same flight, I kid you not, there are 15 who are saying, New York City, here I come. Hong Kong, yes, let's make it happen. San Francisco, I want to meet as many people and go visit as many meetings and locations as I can. See the reality, how it comes from our own reflection of the environment that we are in. And hence, this is exactly the process that's required. What you noticed was I started with the picture at the top left. I showed you the shiny peak. That is your passion. That is your goal, irrespective of the obstacle that stands in your way. But guess what? Along the way, you will find different purpose. And that's the second P. If you look to the right, that river that I crossed in a plateau to gain the sight of beautiful sunrise, as you notice. But that passion will give you and bring you the purpose. Passion and purpose together will invite you to plan. This person that's planning, handwritten in spite of the IT available to him, was a leader, is a leader at the highest level in Microsoft. And I've had the opportunity to work with him. That's not important, but passion will give you the purpose. Passion and purpose together will invite your planning. And guess what? Passion, purpose, planning together will seek for you to be persistent so that you can be successful in an absolutely sustained and strategic manner. As you notice, if you keep this as your mantra, exceed to succeed in life every which way that you can, in all the interactions, by one purpose, making your interactions memorable. I kid you not, you will only be looking at others in the rearview mirror. Begin to think of this as your other mantra. And obviously, you've probably seen this, you probably live by it. But what's your thoughts? They become your words. Words shape our actions. Actions bring on our habits. Habits form our character. And character is our destiny. And why do I choose this picture? Because of the number. Don't do it once or twice a year. Begin to do it 365 days a year. We'll joke with you. Yes, in a leap year, do it 366 days a year, because your character is your destiny. And the easiest way to remember and instill this mantra into your being is watch your thoughts. They are your destiny. You would know, as I said, from vision, mission, goals, measure, and milestones. So from a leadership perspective, if you have, let's say, a team that you are responsible for, retention would be the greatest measure. Now, retention, not because people have the golden handcuffs, but because you have aligned with them. The number one reason people leave companies and jobs is not the money. but it is the leader that they work with. So that's your measure. And if you retain people, that's when you know you're doing a good job. When you align with them, align in so many different ways, then you know you're doing a good job, not just the results, not just the tangible outcomes that you got from your bosses and so on. How do you overcome the obstacles is absolutely yes. I'm going to make it sound easy again, but that is the most difficult and yet the most rewarding decision that you will make. As I started speaking about it, your focus, your integrity, your determination, and your empowerment. My friends, I kid you not, I can tell you personal stories, I can tell you so many stories, but if you keep this mantra in mind, focused integrity with determination to empower others in intuition, trust, and your tremendous yearning to become a lifelong student, no obstacle will ever stand in your way. And here is the flip side of this very coin, and that is if you have a mission statement for yourself, you will not be left without exceeding your goals. And someone asked about what's the level of stress and how can you deal with the stress during this process. Stress is an internal element that we bring it on ourselves. Nobody else has the power to do it unless you empower them. If somebody were to come and tell me, Ben, yes, somebody said, I see Ben's handsome face. That's a huge compliment. But if somebody were to instead say, Ben, you're the ugliest son of a gun that I've ever met, you know what? My comeback to that, aside from being stressed about it, is my comeback to that is a response, mind you, not a reaction. My comeback to it is, yes, my dear friend, I know my limitations. You see how you can make humor and fun out of your own negation and negatives of that. I know people talk about, who are the guys? Let's see, guys and girls. Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt. No, I'm not Brad Pitt. George Clooney. No, I'm not, nor am I looking to be. You see that, what I mean? Stress can come into so many ways only if you let it. I have walked out of interviews because the interviewer was late by 15 minutes. I met him at the door. As I was leaving, he said, aren't you here for the interview? And I said, yes, I was. What do you mean I was? My response to him was, I don't want to work with those that are tardy, even at the most important decision that they are about to make. So you see, you will find when you have the clarity of thought, it gives you the confidence to be courageous and therefore release or relieve your stress. I am not once going to suggest or say that you will be stress-free, because the last time I checked, the only one that is stress-free, my friend, is the one that is not breathing anymore. Yeah. That's a great one. That is the phenomena I call managing upward. See, we get, and I'm not speaking for whoever this question is from, but Every person either gets so intimidated, like the kid in my picture that I showed, or so stressed about, oh, he's my boss's boss. How dare I speak to him in front of him like that? I want you to keep this in mind. We are all humans. Will you agree with that? And if you agree with that, I've got news for you. We are all humans that wear pants the same way, one leg at a time. No one that I have heard about who sits down on the chair or the bed and says, you know what, today I'm going to try a different approach. I'm going to actually sit down, prove Ben wrong, and I'll put on pants, both legs at the same time. You may do that in order to argue and prove a point, but as a routine and a habit, you don't do that. Managing upward is you gotta have the clarity of vision and the goal and the process that you want to take in order to be efficient, effective, and no boss will ever deny how good you are, how good your ideas and thoughts are, if you approach by even aligning with your bosses to be able to brainstorm with them. Absolutely fantastic point about you are in a catch-22. My only comment to that right now, because of the brevity of the answer or the response that I want to give you, is an anecdote, if I can. When you want to travel from wherever you are, let's say Seattle to sunny Florida, you are the one holding that ticket. If somebody were to come and say, no, that's my ticket and you cannot go, and you fall prey to that, you are just being accommodating and you are playing to the tune of the environment. Most people fall victim to that. I don't want to use that term victim, is that they let the environment affect and impact their outcome. My path, my road, my highway has always been dictate the outcome, whichever environment that you are in. Do it rightfully, do it logically, do it in the absolute friendly and an aligned manner rather than being so rude about it. But no distraction will ever take you off track because of how focused you are. There will be distraction. That's the whole purpose. I started my first slide by showing you the peak on the right corner, whereas there was a mountain that was holding the vision back, holding the roadblock. But those that want to reach the peak, they pay no attention to the obstacle. um, Again, yes, I'm smiling or I'm laughing only because not at the question, because my response is going to sound easier than when it's done. I've been so fortunate all my life that I've so far worked with 4 bosses all my life who have since then either become my lifelong friends or my lifelong mentors. Not everyone is as fortunate. Why do I say that? Is because friends also can be the coach, the mentor, the leader, or however, whatever placement you want to make for them. Relatives fall in the same category. Relatives tend to have a balance of positive and the otherwise attitude towards your goals, your passion, Remember the one slide that I showed, whereas I said the intellect will say, the mind will say, the experience will say. Where do you think the experience comes from? Experience comes from us listening to the noise. Experience will say, the relatives will say, no, it can't be done. Ben, you can't just quit this job and go look for your passion and do this. You're being stupid. Absolutely. They are right and appropriate in sharing their thought with me. But if I give in to that, I am beginning to live their life as defined by them, rather than finding my own way to be able to cater to not only myself, but to others. Life is much loftier than we make it to be, much more lofty. Why I say that is because we only have one life, my friends. Last time I checked, I don't think I will have the second life where I'll still be the same Ben. I may be, but it'll be a different version. It's not cloning. And so that's why, yes, whereas I don't have an easier, shorter answer, this actually requires a bit more personal information to be able to cater to your question. And I'm more than happy to take it up one-on-one with a guarantee that whatever you and I speak about will always stay between you and I. There is not enough money in this world for me to compromise my integrity. Or I want to put you on the launch pad with a turbo boost so that you will be able to take on the new assignment and find yourself at least some minutes out of 1,440 minutes of your day. Because I don't know your roles right now, and it matters very little. But if you have been keeping up with the trend for the last 50 plus years, it's a very sad environment to recognize that corporate America has close to 85% of the people who are unhappy doing what they do on a daily basis. I promise you, I assure you, I was in the 15% who always was absolutely the happiest, thriving, and leading to success, irrespective of what the other 85% was doing. Put yourself in that smaller number, my friends. You'll be amazed as to what your journey in your life has to offer. Thank you.